before the folder hit the coffee table, before the words about $70,000 and immigration, there was a story that looked, on the surface, like love. Gino and Jasmine had moments that fans celebrated: romantic dinners, surprise gifts, and tearful declarations of commitment on camera. Viewers watched as Jasmine moved to the US, leaving family and friends behind, placing trust in Gino, the man she believed would be her rock. Gino, for his part, seemed devoted. He smiled when she walked in, celebrated milestones, and made promises about the life they would build together. But behind those moments, cracks were forming, small, almost imperceptible at first. Gino noticed unexplained charges. Jasmine kept her phone close, answering messages in hushed tones. Conversations about money became tense. Promises of repayment were made, sometimes half-heartedly, sometimes forgotten. Gino's generosity met boundaries that seemed invisible to Jasmine, yet unavoidable to him. And while on screen it looked like support, off-camera, fans have later pieced together moments where frustration simmered beneath the surface. It's easy to judge from the outside, but imagine being caught between devotion and doubt. Gino may have felt betrayed by choices he didn't understand, while Jasmine may have felt cornered, balancing survival, family expectations, and a reality TV spotlight that never blinks. Both sides carried emotional weight. Both had reasons to feel vulnerable. Neither was perfectly right or wrong, and that gray area is what made this relationship gripping and eventually combustible. For months, tension quietly accumulated like storm clouds on the horizon. The financial discussions that seemed mundane became pressure points. Every unreturned call, every unexplained expense added to the weight. Fans who had cheered for love started noticing hints of discord. Secretive behaviors, subtle lies, and minor arguments were early warning signs. And yet, nothing on camera truly prepared anyone for the moment Gino would sit down and issue an ultimatum that could change everything. That $70,000, once part of shared dreams and plans, had become a fuse waiting to ignite. Something was about to blow, and the fallout wouldn't just be emotional. It would test loyalty, sanity, and the limits of trust under a reality TV microscope. The calm is over. The storm is coming, and by the time that folder opens, nothing will be the same. The air in the apartment was heavy, almost electric, as Gino placed the manila folder on the coffee table. He didn't shout. He didn't storm around. He simply slid it toward Jasmine, his gaze fixed, calm, unyielding. Then he spoke, measured and cold. "You have 48 hours to return my $70,000. The words landed like a punch, each syllable amplifying the panic in Jasmine's eyes. Jasmine's hands trembled. Her voice cracked as she tried to process the enormity of what she was hearing. You're threatening me," she stammered. Her mind raced. Police involvement, immigration authorities, deportation. These weren't abstract threats anymore. They were real, immediate, inescapable. The cameras, ever present, caught every flicker of emotion: disbelief, fear, anger, and desperation layered into one raw meltdown. Gino, meanwhile, remained eerily composed. He opened the folder with a precision that made it clear this wasn't impulsive. Inside were text messages, receipts, and bank statements meticulously arranged, a paper trail he claimed proved betrayal. He presented them not as punishment, but as evidence. "This is everything," he said, voice firm. "Every promise you made, every dollar I entrusted to you. You said you'd pay me back, but you didn't." Viewers watching had split reactions almost instantly. Some sided with Gino, seeing a man finally standing up against manipulation, someone protecting his hard-earned money from exploitation. Others empathized with Jasmine, a woman caught in a situation spiraling beyond her control, publicly humiliated, her personal life now a spectacle for millions. The episode was a perfect storm of moral ambiguity, keeping fans debating who was right and who was wrong. Jasmine tried to explain, her voice trembling between pleading and frustration. That money was for us, for our future. "I never stole it." Her eyes darted toward the folder as though it might bite. Her body language screamed terror and betrayal. Gino's calm counterpoints, delivered without a hint of emotion, intensified the psychological pressure. Every look, every gesture, every statement created tension both for Jasmine and the audience, forcing viewers to weigh every nuance, every reaction. The cameras captured an intricate dance of power and fear. Gino's precision and quiet authority clashed with Jasmine's escalating panic, creating a spectacle that was impossible to look away from. The emotional stakes weren't just about money. They were about trust, survival, and the unraveling of a relationship once thought unshakable. The moment Gino dropped that folder, everything changed. You won't believe what happened next. Even for fans who had followed their journey closely, this confrontation was unlike anything they had expected. The $70,000 wasn't just a number anymore. It was the trigger that transformed months of tension into an all-out emotional crisis, leaving everyone wondering who would emerge unscathed, if anyone at all. By the time the episode aired, social media had exploded. Hashtags like Not Gino vs Jasmine, Tomber 70K drama, and Up TLC scandal were trending within hours. Memes poking fun at the confrontation spread as fast as heated fan debates. Some viewers cheered Gino for finally holding Jasmine accountable, framing him as a man protecting his money and his dignity. Others condemned him for threatening a pregnant woman with deportation, calling it cruel and manipulative. Every post, every comment fueled the fire, turning private marital conflict into a global spectacle. Fans dissected every frame. Jasmine's trembling hands, her wide-eyed panic, the way she tried to explain herself. These small human moments became fodder for opinion threads. On the other hand, Gino's calm, almost clinical demeanor online was either praised as strategic or vilified as cold-hearted. Watching the footage on camera gave viewers one perspective. Scrolling social feeds gave them 100 more. Emotional responses collided with legal speculation, creating a perfect storm of intrigue, judgment, and debate. The online frenzy wasn't harmless chatter. It added layers of pressure to both Gino and Jasmine. Every viral clip, every screenshot, every opinion piece amplified the stakes, transforming an already tense confrontation into a public battlefield. Fans speculated not only about personal motives, but about legal consequences. Could immigration authorities intervene? Would Gino actually follow through with police reports or a lawsuit? The social media storm blurred the lines between reality TV entertainment and real-life consequences, forcing both the cast and viewers to grapple with the power of public scrutiny. And yet, the biggest question lingered. Could fan outrage or support actually influence what TLC does next? Could social pressure alter Jasmine's legal situation or sway the network's decisions about airing future episodes? With the debate reaching fever pitch, the next move was anyone's guess. The public was watching, judging, and reacting in real time. But would their voices change the outcome? Or just make the fallout even more intense? The $70,000 wasn't just a number anymore. It had morphed into a weapon, one that could alter Jasmine's life in ways she had never imagined. Sources claim that Gino had consulted a lawyer weeks in advance, meticulously organizing every text, bank statement, and wire transfer to create a paper trail he could allegedly use in court. He wasn't bluffing. Police involvement, civil claims, and even immigration reporting were now on the table. For Jasmine, each word felt like a countdown clock ticking toward disaster. Jasmine's panic escalated as she considered the stakes. She could be reported to authorities, face investigations into her residency status, and possibly even risk deportation. Her survival instincts kicked in immediately. She called friends, whispered to family, and scrambled to figure out a temporary safe place to stay while keeping the cameras rolling. Every glance at the folder, every mention of the ultimatum, heightened her sense of vulnerability. Psychologically, the situation was a perfect storm of stress and imbalance. Gino's calm, deliberate behavior contrasted sharply with Jasmine's panic, amplifying the power dynamics. He controlled the narrative, the evidence, and, in a way, the clock. She had the emotional weight, the fear, and the public eye stacked against her. Experts might say that even the act of witnessing such meticulous preparation can intensify a victim's stress response. And that's exactly what viewers saw unfold on screen. Even small decisions became overwhelming. Should she pack and leave temporarily? Call a lawyer immediately? Explain to friends without panicking them? Each choice carried risk, and with each passing moment, the pressure compounded. Every transaction from the past became a potential point of attack. Every innocent comment or gesture could be misinterpreted as evidence. Fans watching understood why she was frantic. Yet, Gino's actions were also framed as rational self-protection, a man allegedly trying to reclaim money he believed was taken from him. The tension wasn't one-sided. It was a calculated chess match, where the pieces were trust, legality, and emotional endurance. With every passing hour, Jasmine's options shrink. What will she do next? By the end of this confrontation, it wasn't just a personal argument anymore. It was a life-altering crisis. The ultimatum had forced both of them into positions where every word, every reaction, and every choice could have consequences that extended far beyond their relationship, turning the cameras into witnesses of not just drama, but potential legal and personal disaster. The cameras caught Jasmine retreating into a corner of the apartment, clutching her phone like a lifeline. Her confessional was raw, unfiltered. She stared at the lens, eyes red, voice trembling. "I can't believe he's doing this," she whispered. Fear, anger, and disbelief collided in every word. To Jasmine, this wasn't just a fight over money. It was a personal attack, a betrayal of the trust she had built by leaving everything behind to be with Gino. Her panic wasn't performative. Every tear, every gulping breath screamed survival instinct kicking in. Meanwhile, Gino sat in his confessional, calm yet visibly tense, articulating a very different perspective. "I worked for that money. I gave her my heart. I trusted her," he said. "And now it feels like I've been used." There was frustration, sure, but also a sense of resolve. He wasn't just angry, he was determined. In his mind, the ultimatum wasn't cruelty, it was accountability. He believed he was drawing a line that couldn't be crossed. From a behavioral standpoint, it's fascinating. On camera, Jasmine's emotional turmoil is visceral and immediate, triggering empathy, panic, and outrage in viewers. Gino's quiet control, the calm delivery of his ultimatum, creates tension and leaves audiences questioning their own judgments. Both are human, both are reacting under pressure, and both are attempting to navigate a minefield of trust, law, and public exposure. It's a textbook example of how perception and reality can diverge in high-stakes relationships. Fans watching online felt it too. Some rooted for Jasmine, horrified at what they perceived as emotional leverage used against her. Others sided with Gino, admiring the clarity of his boundaries and the way he backed his words with evidence. Both positions are understandable, because the situation touches on universal fears: betrayal, financial vulnerability, and the potential to lose everything you thought was secure. Every confession revealed a layer of the human psyche under pressure: panic, fear of loss, moral reasoning, and the desperate need to assert control. Watching these confessions unfold, audiences aren't just entertained, they're invited into a complex moral and emotional debate, weighing motives against outcomes, empathy against justice. Will trust ever be restored, or is this relationship over? As the episode progresses, viewers are left holding their breath, analyzing every glance, every flinch, and every word. Both Jasmine and Gino are exposed in ways that make this more than a reality show fight. It's a high-stakes human drama where every decision, every confession, could determine the future of their relationship, and potentially, their lives. The $70,000 wasn't just cash. It was the physical embodiment of trust, promises and expectations gone sideways. According to sources, Gino meticulously tracked every dollar he believed he had entrusted to Jasmine, from visa and living expenses to money allegedly spent on her family. On the other side, Jasmine claimed that the money was for shared needs and personal survival, not theft. Viewers saw a tangled web: funds intended for the future potentially redirected for lifestyle choices, gifts, or family support, depending on which perspective you believe. The drama is compounded by perception. Some fans argue Gino was justified, a man trying to reclaim what he thought was taken unfairly. Others say Jasmine was cornered, her actions misrepresented, amplified by cameras that turned a domestic argument into a public spectacle. And then there are the viewers caught in between, torn between empathy for Jasmine's fear and recognition of Gino's meticulous accountability. Every piece of evidence, every confession, every reaction feels like a data point in a high-stakes morality experiment that millions are watching. What makes it even messier is the element of family. Some money allegedly went to relatives overseas. Was it generosity, survival, or deceit? Context matters. And that's exactly what fans debate endlessly online. It's a clash of intent versus perception, personal values versus accountability, and emotional vulnerability versus financial pragmatism. On camera, every moment is amplified. Jasmine's trembling hands and tear-streaked face make the stakes feel immediate and personal. Gino's calm, precise delivery contrasts sharply, making him appear both rational and intimidating. That tension is addictive to viewers, forcing them to pick sides while questioning their own judgments. The money isn't just numbers, it's the wedge that could destroy everything. the $70,000 becomes a symbol of deeper issues: trust, manipulation, and control. Whether it's a mismanaged expense, a perceived betrayal, or a genuine act of deception, the financial conflict now drives the emotional and legal stakes. What started as love and shared plans has spiraled into a high-stakes showdown where the next move could redefine their entire relationship. By the time tensions peaked, it wasn't just about money or legal threats. It became a psychological battlefield. Gino's calm, deliberate behavior contrasted sharply with Jasmine's spiraling panic, creating a war of perception and control. Each word, each glance, each carefully timed gesture carried weight. Sources claim that Gino had planned the confrontation meticulously, which made Jasmine feel cornered and under siege. Her fear, heightened by the presence of cameras and the looming possibility of deportation, triggered survival instincts, amplifying her emotional responses. Watching them, viewers can see the classic patterns of power imbalance. One partner leverages information, evidence, or authority to assert control. The other reacts with stress, fear, or emotional overdrive, sometimes feeling trapped between defending themselves and preserving the relationship. Jasmine's confessional shows a cocktail of anxiety, disbelief, and frustration, a human response when threatened emotionally and legally. Gino's composure, on the other hand, demonstrates how strategic detachment can feel intimidating and even manipulative. Even when rooted in accountability, fans often debate who is right or wrong, but the reality is more nuanced. Behavioral patterns under stress are predictable. People panic, rationalize, over-explain, or shut down. The camera amplifies every reaction, making private struggle public, which can distort perception. Observing these dynamics, viewers can learn to spot red flags in relationships without passing judgment. Sudden secrecy, financial pressure, emotional ultimatums, or threats disguised as concern. These cues aren't proof of malice. They're signs of imbalance that deserve attention. In the middle of this storm, small choices become pivotal. A single explanation, a pause, a conciliatory gesture, or a defensive reaction can tilt the balance of power. Gino's calculated calm forces Jasmine to respond emotionally, while her visible fear draws viewer empathy and outrage. Every interaction becomes a study in stress, coping, and human instinct under pressure. Could a single action turn the tide for either side? Every second feels charged. Every glance holds potential consequence. The psychological battle isn't about who yells louder. It's about perception, strategy, and survival. And as this war unfolds, both Jasmine and Gino are left navigating emotional minefields that could redefine not just their relationship, but their lives. As the cameras finally stopped rolling, the chaos didn't end. Jasmine was seen hastily packing her belongings, her face pale and makeup smeared from hours of tears. She called friends and family in whispers, trying to make sense of the storm that had just erupted. Every confessional moment captured her vulnerability, fear, frustration, and the lingering disbelief that her personal life had been turned into a public spectacle. Sources claim she even considered temporary relocation, just to regroup and protect herself, highlighting how the fallout extended far beyond what viewers saw on screen. Meanwhile, Gino remained calm, almost stoic, reviewing every piece of documentation he had gathered. Fans watching live were split between admiration for his meticulous preparation and concern for how far he was willing to go. Online forums buzzed with speculation. Would he follow through with the lawsuit? Could immigration authorities get involved? Some even wondered if this explosive episode could lead to a spin-off, focusing entirely on their financial and legal drama. Every rumor, every screenshot, every viral clip added fuel to the fire, keeping the conversation alive long after filming ended. This was a rare case where reality TV didn't just capture drama. It amplified stakes that had real-world consequences. TLC sources reportedly monitored the situation closely, aware that legal threats and emotional turmoil made this episode a potential liability. Fans debated whether network intervention could influence outcomes or if the situation had already reached a point of no return. TLC may step in, but will it be enough to stop this train wreck? The aftermath was a mix of panic, calculation, and endless speculation. The episode left both the cast and the audience asking the same questions. Could the relationship survive? Would trust ever be restored? And how much of this was reality versus a performance shaped by the pressure of cameras and public scrutiny? The answers were far from clear, keeping viewers glued to social feeds and hungry for the next explosive development.